Procreate 5X is here and I am going to show you all the new features in the app. At least all the features that I was able to find. If there are any features that I'm missing here, please let me know in the comments. The first feature I'm very excited about is the pencil filter option. Now you have even more control when you are using filters in Procreate because you can adjust them by using a brush. Let me just show you. If you go to the adjustments and for instance go for use saturation brightness, click it, then you'll have two options. You can adjust the hue, saturation and brightness for the entire layer, or you can go for the pencil option. Let's do that. And now we can use any of our brushes. For instance, the soft brush under airbrushing. And we can use these sliders to do the adjustments, and you won't see anything right now. But once you start painting, as you can see, you can adjust very selective parts of your painting, brightening them up, adjusting the colors, making your painting look super weird. But of course, that's not always the case. You can do some really amazing things with these pencil adjustments, making very tidy, very precise adjustments in your paintings. Procreate has also added some new and really nice filters. For instance, the glitch effect. You can find it right here. And again, you can pick pencil or layer. Let's just go for the entire layer right now. And you have some different options with which you can just play around. You have artifact, wave, signal, and diverge. And as always, you can use your pen or finger and slide to the right to increase the effect of the filter. This is artifact. You can increase or decrease the blocks, the amount of blocks, and the zoom of the blocks. Then we have wave. You can increase the frequency of the waves, the amplitude, and the zoom. And again, you can increase or decrease the amount of filter that you get. Then we have signal. Again, you have these sliders to increase and decrease the amount of signals. You can play around with the block size and with the zoom. And of course with the amount of glitch. Then finally we have diverge. You can switch the color, the red shift and the green shift, the blue shift, and the zoom and the amount of glitch. A fun filter to play around with. Another new filter is Chromatic Aberration. You can find it right here, almost at the bottom. Let's go for layer again. And you have two options. You can go for perspective and you can go for displace. Again, you'll need to slide to adjust. And you can see this kind of like 3D effect going on, as if you need 3D glasses to see this image in 3D. You can adjust the transition. And you can adjust the fall off. And you can also go for displace right here. And again, use the slider. And this time it also controls the angle. So you can shift your layer and get that kind of like 3D effect. The next new filter I'd like to show you is the halftone filter. You can find it above Chromatic Aberration. Let's go for layer. And here with this filter, you can get kind of that comic book effect as if it's printed. You can go for full color, for screen print, or for newspaper to get an instant newspaper effect. And what Procreate has also added is that when you touch your screen, you can go for undo, preview, cancel, reset, or apply the filter you are using. Now, I don't want to apply halftone, so I'll go for cancel. The next filter I would like to show you under the magic wand is bloom. Let's go for layer. if you use bloom, if you slide to the right, you can see that, well, everything is blowing out a bit. The highlights in the image are blooming. They are becoming brighter, getting something of a halo around them. So you can use this to add a nice glow to your painting. You can play around with the sliders, adjusting the transition, making it glow even more, adjusting the size. This makes it look a bit softer. And the burn, making the effect even, well, actually worse. It's making it glow even more. So you can play around with these sliders, adding a nice glow to your landscapes or to your other paintings. And if you want to apply this effect, you can just click the magic wand and there you have a nice glow in your painting. Another great new effect that you can use in Procreate is the gradient map. You can find it here in the adjustments menu, and again you can pick layer or pencil, and you have this gradient library. It feels a bit like those Instagram filters. You can pick any filter, or you can create your own, or you can click one of the filters, and you can use these sliders to move around the color, or click the color and pick a new one. And this will lay down a gradient, a colored gradient over your image. And if you feel happy with your gradient, then you can just click done and then the magic wand to get out of here. The next Procreate feature is super handy. I always used to put my reference images in a separate window by just swiping up from the bottom of my screen and picking an app. But now in Procreate 5X, you can actually have a reference image in a window in your painting in the app. All you need to do is go to the wrench, then go to Canvas, and then turn on Reference. There we have a secondary window inside Procreate. Right now it's showing the painting itself, which can be very handy if you are zoomed in on your painting and you want to keep an eye on the overall look of your painting. Then that secondary window is super handy. And if you want to use a reference image in the reference box, then all you need to do is click Image and then select Import Image. And you can use your reference image and you can just move it around your canvas, place it wherever you want. And if you don't want to use it anymore, you can just click that X and close it. And don't worry, it's not lost. If you turn on reference again, then it'll be back and you still have your reference image. Next up, we have Swatch Drop. That's a new feature. You know that you can drop your colors from the little color circle right here, but now you can also drop in colors straight from your color palettes, from your swatches. It's a bit different from dragging in the color from that circle because you need to hold the color a bit longer than you are used to. So you'll have to hold the color a bit longer and then drag it onto your screen to fill the canvas or fill a shape, fill a selection, whatever. The next new option I would like to show you is the ability to add a private layer. Now a private layer is what it is. It's private, so it won't show up in a time-lapse video, for instance. So if you want to make notes in your painting or have a reference image or something else that you don't want others to see, then the private layer is the way to go. You can import a layer as private by going to Add, under the Actions, and when you insert a photo or take a photo, insert a file, all you need to do is drag to the left and tell it to insert a private photo. And then we can insert the dog. And now it's on a private layer. So whatever you do on this layer, it won't show up on your time-lapse image. So you can do whatever you want on this layer without anyone ever seeing it. Procreate has also added a new brush feature. if you go to the brush settings of whatever brush you want to adjust, if you go to Wet Mix, you will see a new option, and that's blur. Now, what it does is it'll blur the painting underneath your brush stroke. So it could be useful when adjusting smudge brushes, for instance, or brushes that kind of mix like wet brushes. It's something to go on and experiment with. You will find the next new feature in the selection tool. That's the S-shaped ribbon. And here you see a new option, it's color fill. If you tap color fill and you make a selection, it'll directly fill with the color you are using. So let's pick a color, and if you make a rectangular selection or a freehand selection or an ellipse, it'll automatically fill with the color. And you can also, once you have added this color, you can remove some color by clicking remove here. It'll remove a part of the selection. So if you go over the selection, it'll remove a part of that color. And it also works with rectangle, freehand, all the selection tools. And if you don't like the color that you got, then you can just slide your color around and change the colors in your selection. And if you want to add more, just tap the selection, the S-shaped ribbon, and you can start over and make even more shapes with different colors, for instance, like purple. You can just make selections and add even more shapes. Procreate 5X has also added some magnetics type features in the Move tool. Let's create a selection first. I'll select this area. Be sure to turn off color fill. And when you go to the Move tool, right now we have a snapping function. You can find it here. You can have magnetics turned on and snapping, and it'll make it easier, for instance, to let your image snap to the side of the canvas. Before this, it was hard to fill your illustration inside of the canvas, but right now it'll just snap to the sides, to the center, giving you a lot more control. What you can also do right now is adjust the bounding box. Let's make a new selection by going to the S-shaped ribbon. Let me make this selection. And for instance, what if you want to turn that selection? Let's go to the Move tool. If you use this handle, this square handle, you can move around your selection. And right now it's snapping to our illustration, and then you can move around this part of your illustration, and you can use the green handle to move it around. So Procreate has given us the tools to work in a more precise way. Another thing they have changed is what you see when you swipe down with 3 fingers. You get the copy and paste menu, but before you could use copy and paste, but they changed that to duplicate. So that's the same as copy and paste. If you click duplicate, it'll duplicate this shape that we have selected. But right now you can also cut and paste. And now our selection is on a different layer, and it was cut out of the layer that it was initially on. And you can just move this around. See, our selection wasn't entirely accurate, but it was cut and pasted on a new layer. If you like to use the quick menu, then you'll like the next feature, because Procreate has added the ability to make multiple quick menu profiles. Let's turn on the quick menu first. You can go to the wrench, then to Prefs, and then to gesture controls. I'll just turn on touch for now. So when I touch the screen with my finger, the quick menu will pop up. So let's do that. Here we have the quick menu. And if you click and hold the center, you see the quick menu with different profiles. I have just one here, but if you click the plus, you can make another quick menu. And you can set all sorts of actions in your new quick menu. You can have whatever type of quick menu you want. You will find the next feature on the iPad home screen itself, because Procreate now has the option to add a widget to your homepage. If you're not seeing the widgets on your homepage, then you might have to swipe to the right to open the widget part of your screen. Then you can click Edit and then click Plus. And here you can search for all types of widgets, including the Procreate Widget. Click Procreate, and here you can pick what type of widget you want. If you want a small one, if you want a broad one, or if you want a big one. I'll add the big one. And there is our Procreate widget. You can just click Done. And now you'll always find your latest artwork, the one you're working on. You'll find it on your home screen. And if you click the widget, you can continue painting right away. With the iOS 14 update came the Scribble feature, which means that you can use your Apple Pencil to write on the screen and it'll turn it to typed letters. And you can also use that option in Procreate. For instance, you can name your layers using the Scribble feature. If you click your layer, go to rename. Let's remove that and call it face. And it'll turn into face. It's just like typing face, but then a lot more fun. And you can do the same thing when adding text to your image. Let's go to the wrench, then to add text. Let's remove this text first. Let's click clear. And now we can just write whatever we want. And it'll show up in the text box. Another option that Procreate 5X has is the ability to export animations with a transparent background. I have created a super simple, quick animation to demonstrate, but before you start animating, you have to prepare your canvas. If you make a new canvas by clicking the plus and making a custom canvas by clicking this plus, you'll have to make sure that you set your color profile to sRGB IEC 61966 and when you go to time-lapse settings, make sure you turn on HEVC. Very important, do this first. Then when you are in your animation, go to the layers and turn off the background color. Now we have a transparent animation. And when you go to the wrench, then to share, you can export your animation as an animated HEVC, which will be a high quality animation with a transparent background. If you are having trouble picking colors for your paintings, then you'll like this next feature because Procreate 5X lets you create instant color palettes. All you have to do is go to the color menu and then to palettes, and you can click the plus to either create a new palette all by hand or to create a new color palette from camera. It'll use your camera and you can point your camera, add whatever you like, whatever colors you like, and it'll create a color palette for you. Or you can create a new color palette from file. So if you are following a You Can Draw This video tutorial and you've downloaded the color palette, this is a way to import the color palette. Finally, you can also create a color palette from photos that you have stored on your iPad. So you can open the photos, pick a photo that you like the colors of, and if you click it, it'll create a color palette for you. Then finally, the feature that perhaps you have been waiting for, a very exciting new feature in Procreate 5X, the FacePaint feature, which is not available for older iPads like mine. Guess we'll have to go and get a new one. And there are actually two ways that you can go to FacePaint. You can either create a new canvas by clicking the plus and then choosing FacePaint. You will be in the FacePaint mode right away. Or you can actually pick any painting that you like and apply that to your own face or the face of a friend. For instance, we can grab this wonderful artwork by Loish. Then you can go to the wrench and then you can turn on reference. And now you can see that we have an extra option, not just canvas and image, but you can also go to face and check out what this artwork looks like on your face. But of course, I have made an artwork myself to demonstrate the whole face painting. Let's check it out. I have created this by making a new canvas and clicking FacePaint. Let's turn on FacePaint. Let's grab our iPad. We can turn on reference. And there we can see our face painting. And as you can see, I'm a real artist. Those were all the features that I was able to find in Procreate 5X. If I have missed any feature, then please let me know in the comments and I will be sure to check it out. Thanks for watching.